I had a request to talk about creatine. What is it? Is it safe? Can we take it? Is it gonna make you bulky? I'm gonna cover all of that here. So to start, what is creatine? Okay, to understand what it is, we kind of have to rewind the story of my life with everything. But I really think understanding the fundamentals helps you then layer on that information. Starting with the energy unit of your cells is known as ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It is the currency of energy that your cells like to deal in, to trade in. So just like if someone were to come to Canada and they want to purchase something, they can't purchase it with pesos or dineros. They have to exchange it into Canadian dollars to then buy something with their money. The same thing happens in your cells. So we get energy in the form of chemical bonds in food. Let's just use glucose as an example, or simple table sugar as an example. When that glucose gets into your cell, it can't just automatically be used for energy. It is broken down in multiple steps to eventually create ATP as a byproduct. And then your cells like to take ATP, break it down, release some energy, use that energy to provide a function in the cell, for instance, contracting a muscle or potentiating an electrical signal in your brain. And when it breaks down ATP, releasing that energy, it also releases 1-phosphate and ADP, adenosine diphosphate. Okay. Why does this matter? Phosphocreatine is a naturally occurring chemical, usually found in our muscles, that we can get a little bit from our food as well. That is a very fast energy source because it has the phosphate that it can give to ADP to recreate ATP, the energy currency of our cells. So you can think of phosphocreatine as a very fast energy source for our cells, which can be very beneficial when we are lifting very heavy or doing very high intensity exercise. Okay, but what do the actual studies say? So first of all, creatine is one of the most studied supplements in humans ever, okay? It's been shown to be very safe. 2, it is one of the only supplements, or the only supplement I am actually aware of, that has been shown to have a substantial effect. What does this mean? In science, whenever we're comparing two things, we are looking for statistical significance. So for example, let's say I have one group of people taking creatine, one group of people is taking a placebo, and at the end of my study, I want to see if there was a difference in strength gains in the two groups. All I have to show is the group that took creatine had a statistically significant increase in strength compared to the other group, meaning that the difference that I see between the two groups can't be explained by chance. But that difference I see, even though it might be statistically significant, it can still be a very small difference between the groups. So this is like, for instance, let's say you decided to change your hair color and you went one shade lighter. Technically, there is a difference, a real difference we can measure in the color of your hair, but most people walking around can't tell it's such a small difference. Okay, so that's a small size effect is what it's called. Creatine is one of the only supplements that has what's known as a medium size effect, which means it is a substantial enough effect that it's pretty noticeable. Meaning, let's say you colored your hair and you went from dark brown to light brown. Most people are going to say, did you do something to your hair? There's a big enough difference that we can tell. So first of all, in many studies, creatine has been shown to increase 1 repetition max strength, the weight at which you can do 1 repetition of a particular exercise like a bench press or a squat. It's been shown to increase athletic performance. It's been shown to increase muscle hypertrophy. One study was able to show in women a 60% increase in lean mass compared to a group that didn't take creatine and only strength trained. Taking creatine has even shown a decrease in fat mass. If you want to get stronger, if you want to look more toned, if you want to get more lean mass, if you want to get leaner, if you want to lose fat, creatine has been shown to do all of those things in combination with resistance training. Creatine has even been shown to have benefits in cognition. So again, remember that phosphocreatine gives our cells very fast energy. So it does the same thing in our brain cells. So it has been shown supplementing with creatine can increase short-term memory. It can increase intelligence or reasoning in healthy individuals. And in older individuals, it's been shown to increase long-term memory formation and things like recall. All right, why is creatine, but especially resistance training, so this is like a cover video for more resistance training, why it's important, but why it's particularly important for women. Something that I learned recently that I did not know myself is that estrogen is very important for our bone density. So having high bone density is good. That is what we want. It means that if we hit our bone, like we fall on it, it is less likely to break. But what is bone and what causes changes in bone density? Bone is made up of a hard mineral lattice. So think of a rose bush lattice that allows rose bushes to grow up it, except it's in 3D. In that 3D lattice is cells. There are different types of cells. Okay, 2 types of cells are osteoblasts with a B and osteoclasts with a C. Osteoblasts put down more bone minerals onto your bones, whereas osteoclasts break down bone, releasing minerals into your bloodstream. Neither is good or bad. You need both, because sometimes you want to break down some damaged area and rebuild it. So you need both types of cells. It's like doing maintenance on a bridge. Sometimes you got to break down the bridge a bit to build it back up. The same thing happens on our bones. So they are a living, changing tissue that is in homeostasis to stay healthy. So estrogen helps to inhibit or regulate osteoclasts, the one with the C, the one that does the breaking down. When we hit perimenopause or menopause, first of all, estrogen goes down and then completely stops. So unless we supplement or do hormone replacement for estrogen, we no longer have that regulation that estrogen provided for our osteoclasts, or the cells that break down the bone. And that is why women get brittle bones after menopause. They get osteoporosis. They are more likely to break their hip if they fall. And something like 30% of people, men or women, who fall and break their bones over the age of 65 die within the next year due to the actual fall or complications from the fall. And something like 70% or north of that never regain full independent functionality ever again. So it's a big deal. The only thing that I am aware of that helps to keep high bone density, apart from estrogen replacement, is, you guessed it, resistance training. What resistance training does, it doesn't only put mechanical tension onto your muscles, signaling your muscle to grow. It is also putting all of that weight onto your bone, which is also a signal. As I just said, bone is a living thing. It's not just this hard material in your body. It has living cells that sense their environment. Your bone can sense when there's a lot of weight tension on them and, dings the bell, says, this girl or guy likes to put heavy things on our bones. We've got to make sure we're strong enough, and it increases your bone mineral density. So resistance training so critical for women and men as we age, not just for muscle, which allows us to move under our agency as we age, but to ensure that our skeletons are healthy, which has huge implications for aging well as well. Supplementing with creatine, which has been shown to increase muscle mass and strength, allows us to lift even heavier weights giving our bones a even higher signal that we need them to be strong and to have higher bone mineral density. Okay, let's talk about misconceptions of creatine. Okay, one, only bodybuilders take creatine. It's not for everyone else. As we've just talked about, it's one of the most studied supplements. It's one of the safest things that you can take. It's been shown time and time again to increase strength, to increase muscle size, to increase lean mass, to decrease fat mass, to increase cognition now. That's more of a recent finding. This is for everybody at every age. Okay. Two, creatine will make me bulky. Let's define what bulkiness is. Bulkiness is when you have a lot of muscle and on top of that, a lot of fat. Those two things together are what make people look bulky. When someone has a low amount of fat and a lot of muscle, what they look like is toned or shredded. Most people want to look toned or shredded. So creatine will not make you look bulky. Having an excess amount of fat is what will make you look bulky. So if bulky is not what you want to look like, what you want to do is 1, put on muscle because that helps you to lose fat, and 3, lose fat through your diet. That is how you make sure you don't look bulky. Creatine, in fact, gets into your muscle cells primarily, and when it does so, it pulls water in with it from surrounding your cells into your muscle cells. So creatine can actually make you look more toned by making your muscles look more toned, more bubbly, while making the space around your other cells, all the cells of your body, look smaller because the water has been pulled from that area into your muscles. Okay, so how much do you need? You just need 5 grams of creatine monohydrate a day. So this one is one of the ones that I use. We've just switched to one we get on Amazon, and all I look for is for the words creatine monohydrate, which is right here. It's visible. Creatine monohydrate. There are other creatines on the market that'll say they're better absorbing and this and that. Based on the science, creatine monohydrate outperforms everything else and it is cheaper. Don't get bought in by the marketing. Creatine monohydrate, all you need is 5 grams a day. Sometimes you hear about loading. Forget about loading is when you take 30 grams for a week and then decrease to 5 grams. Just take 5 grams a day and you should be fine. Some people experience GI distress with creatine. Usually people taking it at 5 grams don't. If you are one of the people that does, splitting it up into 2.5 grams twice a day usually alleviates any problems with GI. If it really bothers you, just don't take it. But otherwise, highly recommend it. It's a very cheap supplement, much cheaper than whey protein. It's very safe. It is very effective. I use it daily. It is the only supplement outside of whey protein, if you're not getting enough protein in your diet, that I pretty much blanket would recommend. Everything else outside of maybe fish oils, I think is best done through looking at your blood work and determining if you are deficient in anything. I think that's everything. If you have more questions about creatine, feel free to send me a comment or ask me in person. I think those are your 2 options. And please, if you found this helpful, I would very much appreciate it if you subscribe, if you share, and if you let me know if there's anything else that you really want to know about. Thanks.